My father, Victor Pell Hollitz, liked to make up stories. He liked to tell tall tales. The following is one. This is a video. I'm going to be making some pickled ham, but this is a story my father came up with. He had a snarky sense of humor. Gee, I wonder where I got it from. This delicacy was first discovered in the mountains of Tasmania, where the ranchers were being plagued by the onslaught hordes of Tasmanian devils. These devils were killing the sheep. The ranchers sought some means of trapping them. Many forms of bait were formed in order to tempt the Tasmanian devils into the trap. The one bait that worked the best was the Tasmanian Tid-Bit. The devils became as tame as baby koalas. Several escaped prisoners were also captured in the traps, and after eating the pickled ham, became meek and productive citizens. The Tasmanian government under Harry Hobart decided to nationalize the recipe, but when they found out that the tidbits were habit-forming, they were forced to hide the recipe in a cave. Many years later, prospectors mining for opals discovered the recipe. They thought it was a formula for stuffing and embalming mummies. For years it was used for that purpose. A fraternity, Alpha Zulu Zulu, fed it to several pledges. When the pledges asked for more, they dropped the practice. The recipe was captured by the Nazis in 1940 and became popular as an appetizer. Today it is known to a select group of connoisseurs throughout the world, and even relished by non-Orthodox Jews. An easy dish to prepare, and one that should be shared at holiday time, for sure. And I'm going to show you how to make it. This is a good recipe for leftover ham bits. Like if you have ham on the bone or something, you just trim off all the little odds and ends. I'm using regular ham. This is sliced ham. I bought it. It was on sale, I don't know when. This is part of an onion. I'm going to use that up. I know it looks like a boob. These are whole cloves. I'm going to use 5 of them. This jar here. Some sugar, and vinegar and water. It's a 1-to-1 ratio. In other words, if you have 100 grams of water, or let's say you have a liter of water, you have a liter of vinegar. I use red vinegar, you can use white vinegar, it doesn't really matter. So, let's get down to it, shall we? What I had done was about a half a jar, I put vinegar in it. And then I filled it up like to here with water. It'll be displaced by ham. You'll have extra liquid. And I pull that all in the pan. And now I put in, I don't know, a couple tablespoons. No, 1 tablespoon. Let's see. Stir it up. Let's see if it's any. Kind of not taste too sour and not taste too sweet. Kind of like a sweet and sour thing here. Yeah, that's about good. A big tablespoonful of sugar. Alright, now we're going to heat this up. And into this mixture, we're putting 5 cloves, whole cloves. And it's going to boil. And when it gets to a boil, we'll pour it in the jar with the goodies in it. And now, to put the goodies in the jar. In this clean glass jar, I am putting a little bit of onions, a little bit of ham, and back and forth, little onions, some more ham, little onions, whoops, some more ham. I thought this was going to be too much ham. Might be just enough. A little more onions. And if you don't like onions, which I used to eat them when I was a kid, but I can't really eat whole onions, onions by themselves uncooked anymore, but when they're pickled like this, I can. Come on, you go in the jar. It's going to be good anyway. Oops, that whole chunk of onion went in there. And if you just want to make pickled onions, you just do this without the ham. I know there are recipes where people put like pickled onions on top of their hamburger. Or sauteed onions or something, and that's pretty good actually. Oh, just perfect. Wow, that was eyeballing it. That's pretty good. You want like this. And when you fill it, you'll fill it up to the liquid to here. Now the ham's going to displace some of that liquid, but we're waiting for it to boil, and then I'm going to pour it in the jar. Neither one of my sons like pickled ham, and they don't really care for sauerkraut. They don't eat sauerkraut or pickled ham. What kind of bohemian are they? I mean, they have a bunch of Czech and Bohemian in them, but they don't eat that. But they will eat dumplings. All right. And kolache, other Czech foods, they'll eat that. But they don't like the pickled stuff. They don't like the vinegary stuff. And cabbage they don't really relish either. That's okay. That's fine. My brother David likes all this stuff. And my late brother Rick liked it. My father loved pickled ham. Once we made it, we couldn't keep it around. It was eaten immediately. It is very tasty. It's a great snack food. It's a great appetizer. I don't know. If it were an appetizer, I don't know what else you'd serve. Maybe some kind of small sandwiches or something of a lighter nature. Not sure. I see little bubbles in the pan here, and I see steam coming out of the pan. So what I'm going to do is I'm turning off the stove, and I'm going to pour this hot stuff in there. Hot stuff. Ooh, see, and I did not use up all the liquid. That's okay. And put the lid on while it's hot. And I let it sit. I'll let it cool down, and then I'll put it in the refrigerator. The hard part of this whole recipe is waiting 7 to 10 days to eat it. You have to let it simmer in that pickling juice for a week. So I'm going to put it away. I'll come back to it next week. The second part of this will be in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to the second part of pickled ham. Today we get to try it. Ooh, did it work? Is it pickled? Will it be good? Will I eat it all? Let's find out. This is the third day of February, and the baby is 5 months old today. And I just made a bunch of bacon so that I can pull a couple out at a time when I want it for breakfast or whenever. I'm rendering the fat down, and it'll solidify into lard. And here it is. Sorry about that. When I put it in, it was still warm. It wasn't hot, but it was warm. And when it cooled off, you could hear it go, dunk! The metal sucks in, it vacuums. So I know it should be okay. Ow. Oh, need the church key. Got the church key. Ooh, stinky. Stinky, stinky. I don't want to sully the rest of it, so I will put some in a dish. Because if I eat right out of here, then somehow my germs from me go in there and it ruins it. So that's why we don't eat out of containers or drink out of the milk jug, people. I don't know. Let's find out if it's any good. Let's give it a try, shall we? I don't know when I made it. I think it was the beginning of January. I didn't mark it on the calendar and I didn't mark it on the jar. That's why I always mark stuff on the jar, but I didn't. I'm not going by smell because I went to a picnic once and food smelled great and I got sick. But I have plenty of toilet paper. Let's find out. It's a little oniony for me. Could use a little more sugar on it for me. It's okay. I should have put more sugar in there. I might put some more sugar in there. Or sprinkle on top when I go to eat it. But see, I'm eating it gladly. Mmm. Pickled ham. Mmm. Upward and onward. I forgot to mention, I don't know when I put it in. It's probably a month ago. The optimum time is a week to 10 days. 10 days is probably the optimum after you put it in the fridge. And you can remove the cloves when you do that. Otherwise it does taste kind of clovey. I forgot and left the cloves in there. And when all the goodies have been eaten out of there, you can drink the juice if you're constipated, and it'll get things moving.